Thanks for joining us for CBN News Today. I'm Charlene Aaron.
And I'm Ephraim Graham. The woman in charge of overseeing the president's health care law is resigning after only 6 months of its botched rollout. Republicans are responding with fresh calls to repeal Obamacare. They say that while Kathleen Sebelius may be leaving, the problems with the law are still here. Caitlin Burke reports.
Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius is out, and White House Budget Director Sylvia Matthews Burwell is set to take her place. The Obama administration hoping a new face in charge of Health and Human Services will signify a fresh start for Obamacare.
The website has never crashed. It is functional, but at a very slow speed and very low reliability.
Sebelius' term at HHS was plagued by the disastrous rollout of the healthcare law, including the crippling glitches on healthcare.gov that persisted up to the final enrollment deadline on March 31st.
We do not have any reliable data around enrollment, which is why we haven't given it to date.
She also bore responsibility for the contraception mandate that forces religious business owners and groups to provide drugs that may induce abortion.
Ultimately, it is the federal government telling people of faith to violate their religious beliefs, and if you don't, you're going to suffer fines and penalties.
Still, Republicans say it's not Sebelius that's flawed, but rather the health care law she defended. They say that even after she's gone, it will continue to fall short. The Obama administration is fighting critics by touting new enrollment numbers. They say 7.5 million people signed up by the March 31st deadline, exceeding expectations. But two new reports cast doubts on the rosy Obamacare numbers. The Fiscal Times cites studies by the Rand Corporation and Express Scripts. They show only 3.9 million people actually enrolled in insurance plans, a number that falls far below even the lowest enrollment expectations. And those who did enroll don't provide the support needed to prevent increases in premiums or deductibles. Express Scripts found that the incoming enrollees actually require more medical attention than previous risk pools. Signs that huge challenges still remain for Obamacare. All problems waiting for the new Health and Human Services Secretary. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
Ukraine's prime minister is looking to ease the tension in the eastern region of his country. That's where pro-Russian separatists have captured government buildings. They're calling for a referendum that could lead to more Russian annexation. The prime minister met with legitimate leaders in the east and told them more power should be delegated to regional authorities. Meanwhile, the cash-strapped country's crisis was a topic of concern at the latest meeting of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund.
So in Ukraine, we've put together a $3.5 billion package, about $1.5 billion of which will be provided in direct budget support.
That promise of support comes as Russian President Vladimir Putin levels a new threat. He's demanding Ukraine pay $35 billion for the natural gas Russia supplies to the country. And that threat doesn't stop there. In a letter to 18 Eastern European leaders, Putin warned Europe it may face a shutdown of Russian natural gas supplies.
America's top federal energy regulator is taking major steps to protect the nation's power grid. Cheryl LaFleur says the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission is wiping and scrubbing all databases. The move follows a report revealing unsettling information that certain officials failed to protect the grid's vulnerabilities. They had casually allowed widespread access to a document containing specific physical threats to the grid. Last month, the Wall Street Journal reported on a secret federal analysis that said if a coordinated terrorist attack on 9 key substations was successful, it could cause catastrophic power outages across the country.
Federal authorities are taking over the investigation of a tragic accident in California. Thursday afternoon, a bus carrying high school students to a university preview day crashed head-on with a FedEx truck that had crossed the median. Both vehicles burst into flames, killing at least 9 people. Both the driver of the bus and the truck were killed.
It was transporting students from the Los Angeles Unified School District, and they were en route to Humboldt. So that's as much as we know.
Officials are working to identify the victims from the bus, which carried between 44 and 48 students, 4 chaperones, and the driver.
Police in Detroit say race played a role in a recent mob attack in the city. On April 2nd, Steve Utash was attacked by a group of black men after he accidentally struck a 10-year-old who was walking in front of his truck. Utash got out of his vehicle to help the child when the men began beating him. He remains unconscious and in critical condition. A 16-year-old boy has been charged as a juvenile with assault and ethnic intimidation. 4 men have been charged with assault with intent to murder and assault with intent to do great bodily harm. Defense attorney Terry Johnson says if the feds determine Utash had his civil rights violated, additional charges could also be filed.
It leads me to believe that someone said something or did something of a racial nature. In other words, we're going to go get this white guy or this white guy this, whether it was during the time of the beating, before the beating, or shortly thereafter.
Thursday, several hundred people gathered at a church in Detroit to pray for racial peace and to pray for Utash's recovery.
Religious restrictions in the Air Force are coming under review. That after a cadet at the Air Force Academy was forced to remove a Bible verse from his personal message board. Top officials, chaplains, and legal officers will meet to make sure current policies don't prevent service members from expressing their religious beliefs. Congressman Randy Forbes and 41 members of Congress wrote to the superintendent of the Air Force Academy asking for an explanation of the incident. Forbes said forbidding military members from practicing the very rights they're protecting is, quote, unconscionable. He also said the respectful and casual expression of a religious viewpoint does not have a negative impact on effective leadership.
Former IRS official Lois Lerner is now being held in contempt of Congress. Lawmakers want to know why the IRS targeted conservative groups, and they need her testimony to get the answer. David Brody has more from our nation's capital.
After months of congressional hearings, the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee is taking further steps to get to the bottom of the IRS Tea Party targeting scandal.
I have not done anything wrong.
But Republicans on the committee disagree. They voted along party lines to hold Lois Lerner in contempt of Congress. Lerner was head of the IRS tax-exempt division when the agency targeted Tea Party and conservative groups that were trying to gain tax-exempt status. In previous House hearings, she refused to answer questions about the scandal.
I've been advised by my counsel to assert my constitutional right not to testify or answer questions related to the subject matter of this hearing.
Committee Chairman Darrell Issa says by withholding her testimony, Lerner is standing in the way of lawmakers that are trying to bring the truth to the American people. But Democrats say Lerner isn't the one to blame. They say Issa himself has mishandled the investigation.
I think you may have misplaced the blame here. The only reason we haven't been able to get the truth from Lois Lerner is because of one person, and that is our chairman. Now, like many of you, I want to hear from Lois Lerner. I want to get the facts. But because of the manner in which the investigation has been handled by our chairman, we can't get those facts.
The decision to hold Lerner in contempt comes after the House Ways and Means Committee voted to refer her case to the Justice Department this week for prosecution, saying that she violated the rights of conservative groups and misled investigators. Lawyers for the conservative groups believe politics is behind Lerner's actions. The Republican Party says Democrats have always been critical of the Tea Party movement and its key members. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid has called out the meddling influence of the Koch brothers, but Committee Chairman Darrell Issa told us that Democrats in the Obama administration are simply running scared of the Tea Party.
I think the president really does fear them. You can go after the Koch brothers by name, but Tea Party isn't one party or one group. It's people all around America who simply want to get back to the principles of liberty.
Democrats say Republicans are the ones practicing partisan politics by pressing charges against Lerner. David Brody, CBN News, Washington.
A federal judge is forcing the state of Indiana to recognize a lesbian couple's same-sex marriage. They married in Maine, but Indiana defines marriage as between a man and a woman. The ruling prevents the state from enforcing the law against the couple. One of the women is dying and wants to have the marriage recorded on her death certificate. The ruling does not apply to any other lawsuits against Indiana's marriage law.
A federal court of appeals is considering Utah's voter-approved ban on same-sex marriage. A three-judge panel of the 10th Circuit Court began hearing arguments Thursday. They are deciding if a lower court ruling striking down a gay marriage ban will stand. The governor's lawyers want to overturn the lower court decision. The case comes after last summer's Supreme Court decision that parts of the law, of the federal law defining marriage as one man and one woman, are unconstitutional.
Coming up, keeping your money safe, the massive security breach that may have compromised your passwords, and the shocking way thieves are using public records to steal identities.
You had a grandpa named Pop, right?
He died when I was your age.
I saw him in heaven.
What if an ordinary boy,
Is this him?
That's Pop.
Your son had a near-death experience.
discovered the answer to life's most extraordinary question?
Do you think my son went to heaven?
He told me everything was all right.
Based on the incredible true story.
We all want to be supportive.
I want to believe him.
But everything he talks about is impossible.
Will you believe?
You saw heaven? It's beautiful.
Heaven is for real. See it this Easter. Rated PG.
Hi, I'm Wayne Allen Root, former presidential candidate, conservative national media personality, best-selling author, and true blue patriot. I call what we're living in today the Great Depression 2. More Americans now receive government entitlements than work full-time. The typical family earns less today than in 1989. I understand exactly what's happening to this economy and how you can protect yourself. So I sat down and taped a 30-minute DVD on the topic with all the critical steps needed to ensure Americans can both survive and thrive in 2014. It's called The Timeless Truth About Money. And it's only available in this special TV offer by calling the number below or by visiting online. Thanks to Swiss America, you'll finally understand the true goal of Obamacare, how our trillions in debt will sink the economy, and most importantly, why your golden years require a whole new golden strategy. Call now.
Start planning your journey to the Holy Land. Come to Jerusalem. Breathe the air Jesus breathed that very night in the Garden of Gethsemane. Walk in his footsteps to Golgotha. Step inside the tomb. See the stone where his body lay. Glory to God, he is risen. Ask your pastor or visit goisrael.com to learn more about making the journey that will transform your faith in God and his word. Experience Israel. You'll never be the same.
A security breach known as Heartbleed has put passwords of credit cards and other sensitive data at risk. Researchers say the problem is with the encryption technology in web browsers. It uses the small closed padlock symbol and shows HTTPS when the web traffic is secure. But the Heartbleed breach allows criminals to view that traffic even if the padlock is closed. Researchers call the threat serious and are advising people to change all their passwords. A fix for the issue is just come out, but websites and service providers must install that update to protect their customers.
Identity theft is proving to be a widespread problem, and with tax season now upon us, there's yet another scam to watch out for. Identity thieves have stolen billions of dollars in fake federal tax refunds from the American people. The newest trick they're using? Getting refunds loaded onto prepaid debit cards instead of opting to receive them by check. This process helps the criminals evade detection. In 2012, the IRS issued almost $4 billion to people using stolen identities. The IRS says it's strengthening controls designed to detect fraud in hopes of making a dent in the problem.
Identity theft is one of the fastest growing crimes in America.
It can include credit card fraud, government identity theft, and medical identity theft. And as one woman in Ohio recently discovered, it can include stealing the identity of someone who has passed away.
While the family of Amy Reicheld mourned her death, the identity thieves got busy. Their strategy: simply spend $10 to purchase a copy of her death certificate.
Anyone can walk in and they don't, keep track of it. I said, really? And they said, yes, it's public record.
A fact Reicheld found shocking.
Her death might be public record, but all that information you're handing out for $10 is not public record.
Most death certificates contain full names of the deceased, their address, and date of birth. In this particular scam, the thieves targeted almost a dozen victims and walked away with tens of thousands of dollars.
The bad guy in this case went onto the obituary section in the local paper,
realized that someone was deceased and that they could access their death certificate. Once they accessed that information on the death certificate, they went to the Postal Service, filed a change of address form, and actually got the mail diverted from the deceased individual to their residence.
Evans says the thieves were able to make changes on credit cards and drain bank accounts. The victims' families lost thousands, and in one case couldn't even pay for the funeral.
It's a very kind of devious and fairly smart way of stealing somebody's identity because they're not there to care. You know, Amy's not going to answer the phone and be like, "What? I didn't open this credit card. What are you talking about?"
Postal inspectors have a few tips to avoid this type of scam. First, notify credit bureaus right after the death of a loved one. Next, limit the personal details listed in an obituary. And finally, cancel your loved one's driver's license.
Up next, how the fight to bring Bibles into public schools is heading to the big screen.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
A Southern California school district will allow students to hand out Bible coins outside class, saying teachers who banned them violated the children's rights of free expression. The San Bernardino Sun reports that earlier this year, a teacher banned 4 children from handing out plastic coins with Bible verses during recess. Urged by a nonprofit group, the school district investigated and concluded that the teachers had suppressed the children's First Amendment rights.
Well, CBN News told you before about the successful Bible club in a public school in Pennsylvania. Well, now they're taking their message to other parts of the country.
And they've even gotten the attention of movie makers. Paul Strand has this very encouraging story.
The men who helped build one of the world's largest and most fun public school Bible clubs brought their style and secrets to Boston recently. Area churches, parents, and students heard about the Christian kids of Red Bank Valley High School in rural Pennsylvania, partly because of CBN News coverage.
The question is whether the things that make a school Bible club so popular in small-town Pennsylvania can be transferred to the big city. Some in Boston want to find out.
Joe Harmon has advised the Red Bank Christian kids since they started and now runs schoolbibleclub.com to help others get going and thrive.
I think kids are kids no matter where they're at. I think they can be motivated to learn the Bible in the same way as in rural Western PA or the big city of Boston.
You guys get to be the wind. Pueden ser el viento.
So practice it. Ready?
Practiquen.
The Red Bankers pour on lively presentations and wacky skits to keep their meetings fun and appealing. Here they had the Boston kids acting out Jesus walking on the water. But not only did they play Jesus and the disciples, but the boat, the waves, and the winds, too.
Shake the boat! Shake the boat! Shake the boat!
I
want to do that.
Sabrina Boilio stands ready to join other Christian classmates and bring the Bible to her desperately under-churched student body.
When I ask some people about God in the school, nobody knows. It's worth a try.
Zell Sosita thinks it might be the only way to reach some students.
There's like a lot of people that don't go to church because it's so strict, or like, oh, church is boring.
Still, in a time when many Americans believe the Supreme Court tossed God and prayer out of the public schools, these parents and students wondered whether such clubs would be a defiant flouting of the law.
We're not trying to incite these kids to go back and be rebellious youth. I just talked to a student earlier who said that his teacher told him to put the Bible away. He wasn't allowed to have it, even to carry it around in school. And I told him, I said, you still respect and obey your teacher. However, legally, you are allowed to carry your Bible around in school, and it's okay.
And Harmon says some resisting school administrations may just need a bit of gentle schooling about what the law says they must allow.
These students here in Boston, the students across America, have the right to have Bible clubs.
Some may feel a public school just isn't the right place for a Bible club. But what's great about America is it's still up to the students.
Not according to the principal and teachers in the new film Uncommon. They bully students trying to do a Bible study and a play based on the Bible.
There cannot and will not be any Bible activities on the premises of Rosewood High School.
Actor and co-producer Eric Estrada wanted to bring Uncommon to Red Bank Valley High because this public school gets law and liberty so right as compared to the film's fictional school that ends up in court trying to stifle its students' religious rights.
If a teacher says to them, you can't pray at lunch, you can't pray at graduation, you can't wear that t-shirt that says Jesus loves you and you love God. And no, they can say, up your nose with a rubber hose, I'm going to pray.
Red Bank students and parents turned out for the film by the hundreds.
Freedom forms the very foundation of our rights, your rights, the rights of students in public school. The school officials must respect that freedom. Freedom is not freedom if you're forced to exercise it in private.
Red Bank Student Bible Club member Rachel Hook heard the movie was coming for a special showing and wrote her own song about Christian kids in schools and called it Uncommon.
You could see the light in there.
One of the movie's producers heard the song, had Rachel record it professionally, and it'll be on the film's soundtrack. You can hear it at uncommonfilm.com.
I just wrote it for myself. I didn't even think my family would hear it.
It's nice to be in a school that is not a godless vacuum.
A movie star coming here to Red Bank to show his new film, hundreds of Bostonians asking Red Bank to come show them how to do student Bible clubs. Just two more ways this club that CBN News has helped make famous is continuing to make its mark in the world. Paul Strand, CBN News, Red Bank Valley High.
Another great movie to kind of look out for. Christians
just
are on the
nice
road.
to see the work that school's doing,
Definitely.
too. Very beautiful, very
Definitely.
beautiful. Please stay with us. We are coming right back.
Do you have an idea for an invention or a new product? Brian and Alice Jagosh, the inventors of the halftime drill driver, did. They invented a power drill attachment that lets you drill, flip, and drive in seconds. Brian and Alice licensed their invention to the company that brought you the Snuggie, and it's now selling in major retailers nationwide. Look for the Invent Help Caveman on the package. If you have an invention that you would like to try to patent and submit to companies for possible review and want free information on how Invent Help may be able to assist you, call now. Invent Help is America's largest inventor service company with sales offices in more than 60 cities nationwide. Call Invent Help today for free information. Our clients made a financial gain with their invention, but this is just their individual result. Brian and Alice's experience is not typical, as only a very small number of inventions are licensed or sold in stores.
For your free inventors information, call 1-800-559-8567. That's 1-800-559-8567.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
The film Dolphin Tale was a breakout success that earned $100 million worldwide and saved Florida's Clearwater Marine Aquarium. Now there's a sequel, and CBN was invited to the set to see the film in production. Winter was the star of the first tale, but now she has some company. Hope is a baby dolphin the team rescued on the very last day of Dolphin Tale's first production. Here's a preview.
When that truck arrives, you will hear one voice, and it will be mine. Sawyer, I want you right beside me. That's them. All right, everyone, let's get ready to go.
She's so little.
She's stiffening up. We got to get her in the water fast.
Well, just like the first film, Dolphin Tale 2 is based on a real-life dolphin rescue. The film hits theaters in September, and we will have a behind-the-scenes look in the weeks ahead.
Well, the weekend is here, so it is time for our regular family-friendly movie reviews with Bob Waliszewski. He's director of Focus on the Family's Entertainment Review Department called Plugged In Online. Bob, the new Kevin Costner sports drama is called Draft Day. It is coming out. What do you think?
Well, this is a PG-13 rated film where Kevin Costner essentially plays Sonny Weaver Jr., the general manager of the Cleveland Browns, whose owner of the team says, you better make a big splash come draft day or you're going to lose your job. It's kind of the plot in a nutshell. From an entertainment point of view, I thought it put way too many eggs in the basket of the draft and not very many eggs in the importance of just playing good football. But from a family perspective, which is even more important, there was a field full of profanities added to this mix, and I gave it a mere 2.5 Omahas out of 5 for family friendliness.
All right, ouch. Well, there is a new animation called Rio 2. It is rated G, so that sounds pretty good for children, true?
Yeah, you know, I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 for family friendliness, so yes, it is true. Now, keep in mind that the first Rio, I wasn't as pleased with. There was a thread of sensuality that wove through the first one, but this one doesn't have those mistakes. This is Blue and Jewel in the first one, who are now married and have 3 kids, who travel back to the Amazon because they hear rumors that there's a whole bunch of macaws down there, only to get there and find out that the bad guy loggers are tearing down the rainforest and the animals with it. This is one for the family this weekend, and I'm glad to say there is something out there for the whole family.
All right, before we go, as we head into the Easter season, there's a new revised version of The Passion airing this weekend on cable television. What's different about it?
Yeah, this Sunday, Palm Sunday night at 9 o'clock Eastern on the cable channel Up TV, an edited version, as you said, runs. Now, I haven't seen that edited version, but I've seen the original several times. With that original, because of the violence, I felt that we need to see it, but we probably shouldn't see it until we're around the age of 12 on up. I'm going to keep with that and say 12 on up, but I'm glad that it's on television, especially for Palm Sunday.
Indeed. So we thank you so much, Bob.
You betcha, Ephraim. Talk to you next week.
All right.
Well, that's going to do it for now on CBN News Today. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com.
And take the time to tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here. You can do that on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Certainly hope you'll join us again right here next time. Make it a fabulous Friday, everybody.
Inside every child is a hero, a leader, a friend to others, someone who helps out, who does the right thing, who dreams of what they can be, but they still need our help.
What should I do? What should I say? How should I feel?
That's where Superbook comes in. It provides moral and spiritual truths through situations children can relate to, teaching God's Word to the children you love. Join the Superbook DVD Club and receive Superbook's newest episodes as they're available, plus 2 copies to share with others, all for your gift of only $25. Get Superbook today and watch the miracles happen.
Every day, people are connecting on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Now you can be part of the conversation and connect on topics you care about through 700 Club Interactive. Log on to Facebook, Twitter, or go to YouTube and share your opinions, your prayer requests, and your videos while making friends in our community.
Well, welcome to the show.
Join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. 700 Club Interactive. Be a part of the show.